I look like a rejected Logan Paul. I feel like a rejected Logan Paul. What's up, web gang? Ooh, chill myself. The Simpsons is iconic. With the rumored finishing their latest season and the ever dwindling Halloween coming up, and I don't feel like playing scary games again this year, I decided to do a tier list like every average YouTuber does. Except I'm below average, so we just got a tier list here. What we got, I'll zoom in for you, we're only doing episodes 1 to 5 because I got lazy. Let me know if you want the rest of them, and I'll do 6 to 10, 11 to 15, whatever. I'll do what I can. Let's start off with the classic. Oh, if you don't know what a tier list is, S is like superior and then proper grading system, so deal with that information what you will. We're going to start this episode, Treehouse, I think it's, Simpsons Treehouse of Horror Halloween Special. Was what the first one was called. Actually, they were just called Halloween Specials. There was no actual Treehouse of Horror introduced. It was just the Simpsons Halloween Special. Even if you look at the opening logo, it says that the entire way through. The Treehouse of Horror thing come from just after the first episode, which is all about horror stories in a treehouse, which is what the opening is. We open up with, the episode actually opens with Marge doing a little PSA saying, hey, don't watch this, it's spooky, scary, ooh. And then hard cuts to the title card, going to the cemetery and showing gravestones of just funny things. It's actually pretty cool, pretty neat. I enjoy it for what it is. I do like the fun little parodies in it. We then hard cut to Homer walking through the treehouse, walking around the treehouse, gloating how much candy he has, and listening in on the children, hoping to spook them. To which they start the children, all sitting on top of the treehouse, but Maggie and Lisa are talking about horror stories, doing ghost stories, like all kids did during Halloween in America, I assume. I live in Australia. We do Halloween parties, but I think that's just an excuse to get drunk and slut, essentially. I do love the opening. Before we get into the actual tales, I love the opening because it is so iconic, the music coming through, and you can see the openings of what this tradition is going to become. Once Lisa tells kind of a mid-story but doesn't say anything, Bart takes over and starts explaining his first horror story. The story is basically a classic trope of a haunted house. Not quite Shining level haunted, because the hauntedness of The Shining was done deliberately. This is just a haunted house. All tropes. You got the parody of Paranormal Activity before Paranormal Activity, The Exorcism, all the classic horror movie haunted house tropes that we've all read for the last 10 years. And cuts to Homer being sold the house. They talk about how cheap they got it. And then they notice the black hole in the kitchen. Black hole, it's unclear what it is, but it does go to a different dimension. Bit of funnies there. Hard cut to the night where the house is convincing them to kill each other. Marge lashes out after seeing what's happening. And they have a quick discussion on what the house is going to do to them, and then they leave, and the house just eats the fuck out of there. It's kind of a mid-story, but for a first one, I expected a bit more bounce in it, but I digress, we'll move on. The second story is another one of Bart's, where he talks about aliens. So it's a basic trope of aliens come over, will they probe us, what are they doing to us? The aliens come down, they take the Simpson family, of course, and feed them. The whole story revolves around Lisa trying to convince herself and the rest of the family that the aliens are just trying to eat them. Through hilarity, many book dustings, they find out the aliens were pretty harmless. In fact, the humans were the jerks in this. It's kind of funny, that play on are we really alone and who's the real jerk, the probe or the probee, without probes, I guess. It's pretty fun. I enjoy it. It was mid again, but the next one's good. Edgar Allan Poe. A name that people know, but people don't. Yeah, some high school people that did really high English know of him. If you study English as a language, you will know him. But true Simpson fans know him for one reason, and one reason only. The Raven. The Raven is one of the classic stories, and it's also a story told in the final story of The Simpsons Halloween Special, Episode 1. I love it. I can't stress how much I love it. James Earl Jones narrating the fucking thing. The actual sound, like, it's brought to life. I've never read it personally. I probably should read it. But from what I've heard, it is a direct relation to it. And an iconic line that everyone knows. Quaff the Raven. Nevermore. It's a classic one that everyone knows and loves. You can't fault it for that. And just the lines of this Shakespearean-like language, just spoken through Homer, making him sound so smart. It's funny in itself. Not scary. By no means, it probably is if you read it. But by no stretch of the imagination is it scary. It's just brilliant parody work. And you'll see this come a long way. You'll see this going further. They go further and further down the rabbit hole as the Halloween specials continue. But The Raven, it's S tier straight up. If I was just doing it if I was doing the tier list based on stories, Quaff the Raven is at the top. But unfortunately, we're doing episode by episode. And for that, I have to give the whole thing, today. Straight up A tier. It's good. It's a good starting pitch. Season 3, Episode 6 marks off The Simpsons Halloween Special number 2. With, again, the classic Marge opening with a recap advising everyone, hey, this is scary. You ignored me last time, and what happened? It's pretty funny. Again, they hard cut to the cemetery, going through all the gravestones with the funny names, and it's pretty good. The names are funny. Everything's there. I love this look. We hard cut to then the Simpson family just finishing their Halloween trick-or-treating, where Marge is advising the children eating all the candy, and Homer, that don't eat too much candy, there'll be nightmares. This old wives' tale that still goes around. I think till this day, it still goes around. The old wives, if you eat too much sugar, you will have nightmares and tummy aches. You definitely get the tummy aches, but you don't get the nightmares. And with this is our opening to the 3 separate Halloween stories we'll be getting. First one, by Lisa. It's a monkey paw tale. What can I say? That's pretty much it. It's a monkey paw. Okay, if you don't know what a monkey paw is essentially you get granted wishes, but there are consequences to these wishes. If you're not explicitly direct and clear, it can be interpreted in a different way. So, for example, I want 1 million subscribers, but they're all bots. Well, actually, the equivalent to those, I like 1 million subscribers and millions of views in each video. Each video is demonetized. I'm not making any money, so it's fruitless. I have fame but no riches. You see what I mean? The Simpsons parody this by also stating that they want rich and famous. Cool. But then they become annoying and dull. That's not foreshadowing anything at all. They wish for world peace, but aliens take over, and because they've put peace everywhere, no one knows how to attack or defend themselves. And then they do a quick little funny one where Homer wishes for a turkey sandwich and makes it clear on everything he wants, but the turkey's a little dry. And Ned Flanders saves the day by saying, hey, I just want to get rid of the aliens. Dream 2, featuring, which is Bart's dream, is kind of weird. I didn't do too much research into these, as you can tell, but it's got to be a book or something. But anyway, it's Bart has God tier powers. I'm talking like God. He's essentially God. Everyone's got to be cool and happy around him, otherwise he'll turn them into weird things. He can hear like people's thoughts and shit like that, so he can transform them into anything he wants. So everyone just obeyed by him. This is a cool concept, and it could be done right, except the Simpsons turn it into like a wholesome father-son thing when Bart turns Homer into a like swingy Jack-in-a-Box thing. It's kind of weird. It's kind of mid. I didn't like this one too much. It's kind of shitty. If it was a single one, I'd put it straight as a D tier. But it's not that great. I didn't love it that much. We cut to the final one, which is actually Homer. It's Dr. Frankenstein, but with robots. It's shit. Dr. Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, however, this. Okay, it's a good story, but it's been overplayed so many times, and this is just another overplayed one. It's kind of mid, kind of shit. I didn't like it. I'm not gonna say. It's basically Mr. Burns wants a good worker, so he fires Homer, puts Homer's brain into a robot Frankenstein monster. And it's kind of, I didn't like it. Yeah, it's not that freaky. I can see the parody in it, but I didn't like it that much. And for that reason, this whole episode, it's C. It's mid. It's got some good ones, ultimately some shitty ones. Season 4, Episode 5, Treehouse of Horror, or Halloween Special Number 3, opens with Homer behind the red curtain, explicitly reminding viewers of what happened last time, and hey, don't be a crybaby, hey, you're all chickens, buck, 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 and then Marge comes back into the fold after we, the viewer, have turned off our television screen and ignored them. He continues to cause the chicken, and Marge warning him, hey, why'd you do that, yada yada. We had cut to the cemetery with the classic opener and more funny tombstones. This one opens with the Halloween party, a bunch of kids talking around horror stories and horror stuff. Marge opens up, and everyone starts opening up about their own. And we get our first, I wouldn't say first, but one of the bigger parodies ever done for The Simpsons so far. I Will Fight This, Season 3. Treehouse of Horror 3 does have the bigger one. Yeah, you could argue Frankenstein's Monster, but I would say opens up with Child's Play, Chucky. Fuck yeah. Everyone loves Chucky. Everyone knows Chucky. Don't know Chucky. Chucky's a killer doll that kills. It's funny. It's fun. And actually, not even animations, but the whole movie still hold up. I remember watching them the other few months ago with my mum. That shit holds up really well. I digress. This one is basically, who's the clown of the show? Krusty the Clown. And he becomes the killer doll. I love this episode. Love this story. The story is great. It's funny. It's got all the tropes of all good parodies. I genuinely like it. And has one of my funniest lines when they're talking about buying it with the Frogut, potassium, iodine, and Homer sitting there talking, that's good, right? That's bad. It's funny, iconic, and the plot twist at the end, like everyone knows Chucky dies at the end of the movie. This one being the funny twist of The Simpsons is the technician just comes, someone switch this doll to evil. It's funny. It's genuinely funny, and then becomes good. It becomes Homer's slave. Again, if I was rating it on stories, this would be a straight A tier. But unfortunately, we're doing episode by episode. Story 2, again, King Kong. I don't see how this is Halloween. It's just parody for parody's sake. Homer is King Kong. And it's not like the new King Kongs. It's like old school King Kong, black and white King Kong. I'd even argue it's got a bit of Peter Jackson's King Kong in there. It's King Kong. The ending was kind of funny. Like he only climbs like 2 feet, falls in love, eats Marge's father. It's kind of funny. And again, kind of shit. Let's bring the whole episode down. Because we started with a good one. Black and white King Kong. Kind of crap. There are some funny moments in there. But overall, not that great. Story 3 is Bart Simpson bringing the dead back to life. It's a classic horror movie trope. Horror genre trope that everyone's done. Oh, we rose the dead. Yeah, cool. Bit mid, but still cool concept if done correctly. This one's kind of done correctly. I can see some funny bits in it. I mean, Bart tries to bring a dead cat back to life, but ends up raising the dead. And all Springfield is, left to rot with this. Homer Simpson getting told he has no brains pretty funny. I find that pretty hilarious. Good meme. The other fun one, I believe, in this one too, is, actually this is funny. the Homer Simpson walking out and shooting Ned Flanders, and Bart with the iconic line of, "Oh my God, Dad, you just shot Zombie Flanders." He was a zombie. Funny. Genuinely funny. And then when they're running through the school and they're seeing all the dead celebrities and his parody lines, funny. So it does raise the bar up a little bit. I'll give it that. It is a classic nonetheless. If I had to give it anything, I originally wrote in my script a C, but now thinking about it a bit more, I kind of want to give it a B. It's kind of B. The last story and the first story kind of raise it, give it that bit of oomph. But that King Kong shit it just shits on it. Halloween special number 4. It just opens. It just opens with the cemetery and the coffins, and our first Trios of Horror couch gag, which is just the zombies running up. It's actually the first we can see progression. It's good. This one also opens up with, so after the couch gag, we hard cut to Bart going through the painting gallery. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be biased on this episode. I fucking hate it. I hate this episode. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. I hate this episode because growing up, if you had Foxtel on a show, this episode was for some reason always on. It was this episode for some fucking reason, and I just don't like it for that reason. It was always on. I don't know. But I decided to give it. I'm going in non-biased again. I don't like this episode, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It hard cuts to Bart going through some paintings and explaining what's happening, and Marge coming in again. Savior, our queen, our cartoon queen, is telling us, "Hey, did you warn the people not to watch this?" Oh, it's Maggie, and we hard cut to our first painting being the devil. This one is kind of funny. It does have its moments. I actually do like this one. It's got a bit of a soft spot for me, but it goes downhill from it pretty far. So Homer wants a donut, so he sells his soul to the devil being Ned Flanders. A perfect irony nonetheless that I love. And it then hard cuts to Homer realizing that if he doesn't finish the donut, he won't die. Simple as that. His soul won't be taken if he doesn't eat the donut. So he doesn't eat the donut, and it wakes up in the middle of the night for a late night snack with all the warning signs saying don't eat the donut, eats the donut, Homer gets taken away. And then goes to hell. Lisa explains that, no, we have fair trial in America, but Homer still has to spend the afternoon or day in hell, with the ironic punishment being he has to eat nothing but donuts. It wasn't a punishment for him, he just sat there and ate donuts. Pretty funny. And then hard cuts to a trial with all the dead evils and Richard Nixon. Never mind, he's still there. Anyway, it goes to Ronald Hart's and the devil, talking about the trial. And they go through and find out that actually Marge owns Homer's soul. There you go, the devil can't have it. But the final nail in the coffin is that the devil curses Homer anyway and gives him a donut head, which actually I have a little Funko. And yes, I can see how nerdy it is, but little Homer Funko. So we'll put him on the tier list. Big little Homer here. This is what he turns into after the episode, pinching himself and realizing he's so delicious. He has to go to work, however, warned not to go to work because of all the police officers sitting there with coffee, ready to nibble on his yummy, scrumptious head. Look how yummy he is. Num num num. Painting 2 is a school bus. Bart tries to make fun, saying, no, it's not a school bus. It's a ghoul bus. And she goes, no, it says school bus. Kind of funny. I can see it. And then it hard cuts to the obvious story of Googling on the bus. It's kind of funny, but again, I just didn't like it. I know it's a parody of something. Again, I didn't do much research in this, but it wasn't that great. It wasn't that funny. I kind of thought, It does, and it basically, there's a little gremlin on the side of the bus trying to destroy it. Bart's the only one that can see it. Everyone thinks he's crazy. The antics are high. It ends with the little gremlin being killed off the bus and run over by Ned Flanders. Ned Flanders saves the little gremlin but dies. Bart is put into a mental institution, but everyone saw, no, actually, there was someone destroying the bus. He was right. but they still put him in the mental asylum, and it ends with, obviously, the child dying because the little gremlin caught him holding Ned Flanders' head. Gruesome stuff. Not that great, though. It's kind of moved. I love seeing Uda. Any chance I get to see Uda is great, but it's not that great. The third painting is a vampire. Oh, no, sorry. The third painting is the dogs playing cards, and they just made a vampire story about it. I would have loved to see the dog painting, see where they would have gone with that, but a dog's painting is, the vampire thing's still pretty cool. Again, another horror story trope that just, kind of mid shit. But for what it's worth, it had some funny moments, like them drinking blood, talking about wiping their neck for Mr. Burns. The super fun Happy Slide was pretty funny, but other than that, there was really nothing to it. Oh, there was the one funny bit where Homer stabs Mr. Burns in the crotch and not the heart, but the stake. And kind of says you're fired, realizing they didn't kill the head vampire, and they're all singing, and it ends with like a Snoopy parody. That was kind of cool, but again, still mid-story, and for that reason, episode 4 will be a C tier. Treehouse of Horror 5. Fuck yeah, I love this one. I love this one so much. It is 2 pages of fucking page and a half of notes just on this one alone. I love this one. This is one of my favorites because it's got the classic. It opens with Marge at the front helm talking about, oh, well, you know, be careful, be scared, which I've always loved. And then hard cuts to a 1950s movie, which then closes to Bart talking, we own your airwave and television set with the wavy, wiggly lines. That is cool. That was my childhood, watching that episode. I can visibly see myself watching it on my uncle's box TV when he had the DVD set. I can see this. It's my favorite. And no, I'm not going to be biased about it, but it does have, I think, one of the best parodies. It does. I cannot argue. You thought Chucky's one was good. This one, top tier. If I was doing story to story, S tier. It would be S++, bud. Let me just get into it. A hard cut. If we have Homer and Bart arguing over the airwaves, and Bart opening the episode with and saying, "Welcome to the Halloween special." Brilliant. I love it. It doesn't even have like the cemetery. It opens with the cemetery, but instead of graves, it is dark. Like they're going all out. Like Marge wasn't kidding. We're going dark. It's got Moe hanging himself from a tree. Patty and Selma being burnt because they're witches. The teacher's being decapitated on a guillotine. And then opens with a couch gag as well. But again, they're going dark. And they're letting you know, like, hey, we're not fucking around with this one. And they're not. With the first story being top tier, The Shining. It's basic. If you don't know what The Shining is, it's a parody. If you don't know what The Shining is, it's a parody of The Shining. The Shining being one of Jack Nicholson's biggest, I think it's one of his biggest movies. But the Simpsons parody of it is fan-fucking-tastic. Them going in, fighting the house, the blood coming down the elevator through the room. The other thing missing from this parody itself were the twins, like the 2 little girls. But again, I can forgive that for how good this is. It's going through Bart realizing he has the shinning. He has the shinning and can contact Willie whenever he can. This is one of actually Willie's biggest episodes, nonetheless. This is where a gag comes into play for Willie here. It then cuts to Homer realizing, oh, no TV. Well, I better have a beer. No beer. So instead of all work, no play, make Jack something. It's no beer, no television, make Homer something. Which is one of the best lines. This is some of the best acting too. Like, Homer here is some of the best acting of all time. Like, his scream when he looks in the mirror is best. His line delivery of, no beer, no TV, make Homer something. Iconic to the day. The 3D animation in this is even fantastic as well for the time. Like, it is a great episode. And yes, and then when Homer gets locked away, all the ghoulies and monsters coming out. You got stuff like Freddy Krueger, Hellraiser, Teen Wolf or Werewolf, whatever the fuck you want to call him, and Jason and Mo pulling him away, saying, "Hey, you still need to kill your family, Ben." And then the iconic axe through the door. Here's Johnny. Nope, here's David Letterman. And then announcing the cast of 60 Minutes. Them running through. Willie coming in hot, saying, "Oh, I can save him. The little fat boy's in trouble, getting stabbed in the back by Homer." And then realizing, "Oh, well, I need to go," and they try to, "I'm dead." And then they've run away outside and then just die in the snow after watching TV. The still shots with the frozen body is just as funny as when it happened in the movie The Shining. Only difference being they didn't do that crappy weird ending like he was there or goes the whole time, like that weird thing. But still funny nonetheless. Again, if we were doing story, this would be SS fucking tier. It is perfect. The second story is Homer gets his hand stuck in a toaster. Alright, next story. I'm kidding. So, the whole thing is Homer gets his hand stuck in a toaster, and he destroys the toaster and can travel back in time. And that's the whole thing. He travels back in time with a toaster. And the whole gag is whatever he touches alters time itself. You get some cool timelines, like the one where Ned Flanders runs. It's pretty cool. And they all have to get a frontal lobe lobotomy because they hate Ned Flanders. I don't know. It's kind of fun. And then going through again, the giant Simpsons, underwater Simpsons, big tongues. They're rich, but there's no donuts. Willie coming in hot again, but then getting stabbed by Maggie, who is voiced by James Earl Jones again. Very cool. But it hard cuts to more. Hard cuts to the end of the episode where they go, "Oh, well, is this my reality?" They explain, yes, you're back to normal, yada, yada, yada. And then it's, oh no, they just have long tongues. He just accepts that. Doesn't accept the rich but no dimes, but that long tongue, I know what Homer's thinking. He's seen part of that long tongue. He knows what she can do with that. The third and last story of this and the tier list itself, the teachers eat the kids. Actually, this is terrifying. I remember watching this when I was a kid. It's freaky as fuck. And you can see why. The imagery in this is scary as all hell. The fucking teachers eating the kids. The last couple shots of the actual story is freaky as fuck in itself. I mean, look at Lunch Lady Doris and Principal Skinner. That is a freaky shot. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's cool. And they try and... It's cool. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the whole thing is there are too many kids in detention. Jimbo trips over Lunch Lady Doris because the kids are getting fed F-grade meat, which is a whole thing in the whole Simpsons universe, is that the school is shit. But trips her over, spills the F-grade soup meat. Principal Skinner, ooh, that's yummy. Puts him in a pot with some meat tenderizer and eats him. And they find out he's delicious and they start eating other children. Lisa then realizes, hey, I think the children are being eaten. And we get another one. We get Udo back, which is always good, but it doesn't last long, turns into a German sausage. How ironic. To which Bart and Lisa realize that, hey, we're going to get eaten. We have to go tell someone. They tell Marge. Marge goes, hey, fight your own fights. This is up to you. This is fucking terrifying. If your kids are coming up to you saying, I'm weird, I think the teachers are eating us, you either think, yeah, get over yourself, your wild imagination, or you try and at least listen to me. Not telling you 10 to 8 solve your own fucking problems. And then hard cuts to time passes, a lot of children missing, where they've merged all the school into one class, as you can see. Wendell drops a pencil and is sent to detention. They sneak out after realizing Milhouse is the next one to get eaten because how to cook nerd. Gets kicked out. They sneak out. And the funniest bit is watching and sitting there shake. Principal Skinner tapping on the cage going, hey, careful, you ruin the meat. Now let's check on those free range chickens. It's just like chickens. It is so funny to me. And then Nigel Egg Doris comes out with like the stirrer, like a hand cranked meat, a beater, baking beater, hand crank one. I don't know what she's gonna do with that to the kid, but fuck me, that image is terrifying. Like I said, they're not fucking around. This is some scary imagery for children. And then it cuts to Principal Skinner saying, "I'll eat your shorts first, Bart." Willie comes out to try and save them, and then is killed by Principal Skinner again. And they're all cornered at the back with this terrifying image, thinking, someone will save us, someone will save us. Millhouse dies in the giant blender. They realize, nope, someone can save the Simpsons children. They die. But jump cut to Bart waking up in bed, realizing, it was all just a terrible nightmare. Whoa, free key. It's very reassuring, no, it was just a nightmare. None of that is real, except for the fog that turns your skin inside out. The fog seeps in and turns their skin inside out. Which, again, it's not the imagery that's freaky. It's the sound of it. It's, at least my asshole clench and my skin crawl with that. But I love it nonetheless because it is so funny. And they cut to a musical about the whole wire, about the fog, and they mention a virus, and Willie comes back. Yay, Willie. He's in the dance musical, and then Bart's leg gets eaten off by the dog because that's what he sniffed. But overall, I'd give it a B. But think about how creepy the third story was, how mid the second story was. I'm gonna give it an A. But that's that. That is the first 5 of the Treehouse of Horrors tier list done. Let me know if you agree and disagree. And yeah. Don't forget to like and sub if you want more. I'll continue doing this during the Halloween month and some other horror shit. Duffman out. Like and sub, follow for more, and yeah. Duffman out.